How's everyone doing?
Pretty good.
Good. How has the week been? Pretty good. Should we do talk a little bit about goals and how we're doing with that? Since Jenny's took our course, we might as well talk a little bit about goal setting too. So small goals that we have been setting, how are we doing overall?
It was brutal for me this week.
Okay.
I was pretty happy last week. I bought my stickers.
Good.
All ready to put stickers all over the place. I did not do one food journal.
Okay. So just life busy?
Yeah, super busy. I'm organizing this golf tournament. I've got papers all over my house, and so for the first couple of days that I didn't do it, I was beating myself up, and I thought, it doesn't really matter as long as I am conscious of what I'm eating and drinking. That's more important than writing it down. So I said, I gave myself the week off.
Perfect.
So that I wasn't going to be mad about it.
Yeah, good. Awesome. And you probably feel a whole lot better.
I feel better.
Giving yourself.
I still have a full package of stickers.
Oh well.
I'm hoping to use them next week.
Excellent. But it's we talked about that a little bit last week. I think Sheila brought it up about, just giving yourself permission that it's okay that whatever the plan was, you adapted just fine, right?
Yeah.
And you don't have that negative attached to it where you're angry about.
Yeah. So I was still, eating good food and
That's
drinking
great.
lots of water and,
Awesome.
working around the house and not doing as much extra exercise, but I was so busy that I thought, it doesn't really matter this week.
That's great. Good to hear. Anyone else want to share anything from the week?
I listened to the videos from last week, and it was thought-provoking because I realized I don't make meal plans and I don't make a grocery list. It's spur of the moment, and I go sometimes every day. So I thought, that's something I'm going to have to work on.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. So this is a perfect class because we're going to talk about some of that for sure. Anyone else struggle with that? A little bit of planning it out, having your, thinking about what you're going to do. Okay, we're going to talk a lot about that today. Anything else from the week? Anyone have a big success on something? All okay though? We're
It's
sort
kind
of
of an average week,
Okay.
Some things got sidelined, other things
Okay.
were good, so,
okay.
it was life.
Okay. Good. So this is what we want to continue is that, again, as long as we're aware of what we need to be doing, we haven't completely, gone back to, I have to start at, class 1 or week 1 again, right? So we want to keep taking those steps every day. And yes, life does happen, which we, hear, but we still need to be, aware of what we need to be doing to take care of ourselves, right? It's the taking care of ourselves part, right? Still doing the basics. Everyone has a water bottle, which is awesome. So that's a huge, huge step. Lots of stickers should be going up. Okay, so anything else we want to talk about before we dive right into our class today? This is a really good one. Talking all about meal planning. What does that look like for you? Because everyone is different, everyone's lifestyles are different. Meal planning, how to create actual plans, right? We're going to talk a bit more about that. What does that look like in terms of creating healthy plans, right? So healthy meal plans. Talking about how to save us some time with food prep, how to save us stress, how to save us some money, those kinds of things. And then also talking about recipes. Where do we find them? What inspires us to use them? And how do we make them over? If we find something that we really want to try, or that we have a recipe that it's not the healthiest that it could be, is there a way that we can change it? Okay, so we're gonna do a little bit, talk about that. And I realized I walked out of the house without one of my bags and it had our second sample in it, so I apologize for that. We have a good sample one, but I had a second one, which I will bring to class next week. Jenny, I can get you some. You actually, when you came to my house, you actually tried some of it, so.
Oh, the lemon lime?
I made the salmon and asparagus quiche.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so we will have that next class, but since you're not here, I can.
It's okay, I've eaten it.
Okay.
It's very good.
So I apologize, I walked out of the house not without my stuff. But we do have something else, so it's good. Okay, so let's start. I do have lots of handouts today, so first of all, I'll start with our goals handout. If you need, are still tracking goals for the week, you can be adding that. So let's start talking about why do we need to be meal plan. I'm gonna create a meal plan. Sorry. Okay, meal. I don't know what was on my brain when I was writing that. Okay, why do we need to be meal planning and doing food prep? So, if you fail to plan, what's the rest of that? You plan to fail. Is that true?
Yes,
Okay.
certainly for me it is.
Okay, and fail means what to you?
Just grabbing the easiest thing out of the cupboard,
Yeah.
off a shelf, in a store.
Yeah, so no real thought. And quite often, not always, but quite often, whatever it is that you're grabbing isn't always the healthiest. It's usually convenient, right? And also, if we haven't planned enough and we are over hungry, what happens?
Then it's really bad.
And it's usually not the best option and in a very big quantity, because again, your brain is fueled by glucose, remember? Sugar, final product of carbohydrate breakdown, sugar, and your brain would be very happy with, some brown rice and some baked chicken and, broccoli, but it's certainly not going to say no to cookies or donuts or crackers and cheese or in any quantity, chips, whatever your thing is, right? So yeah, not planning for some of that can certainly affect what we're eating. Okay, so why are we meal planning and doing food prep? What are the reasons that we should be doing those things?
So that you're eating healthier.
Yeah, so that you're actually choosing healthier options. What else?
You have it in the house.
Yeah, so you have good options available. What else? What else can happen if we actually plan in advance? Will we be less stressed?
Absolutely.
Yeah, so we are actually decreasing stress around making meals,
Yeah.
right?
And
So-
food in general.
Yep, definitely decreasing stress. What else? If we're planning out and doing some food prep, could we be saving time?
Saving
Huge.
time, so then you can exercise more.
Okay,
It works that way, eh?
so yes, so you are saving time so that you can do other things. Exercise is a good option, but other, right? If you can save time by doing planning and prep in advance, yes, there's a time investment when you're doing it, which we'll talk about planning and food prep, but it becomes less stressful and saves you time, which means you feel better and you have time to do other things. Okay, and some of those other things might be relaxing. Okay. Also think about if we plan in advance and do food prep, can you save money? Do you think planning in advance and doing food prep in advance will save you money?
Yes.
Okay? And why are we saving money?
Well, even if you're,
How are we saving money?
choosing a healthy option like the prepackaged, prepared lettuce, it's still cheaper to buy yourself and wash it and have it available to you.
Correct.
So,
So again, there's a time investment, but it's less expensive to purchase something that isn't already prepared for you. Okay. So that is something that we do need to talk about at some point today, about you can choose to buy prepared for you already to save time, but that's a choice, right? The cost goes up in terms of what you're buying. So yes, so you can save money, but also think about if you are planning in advance and you're going grocery shopping with a list, which we're going to talk about, and you're watching the sales and the flyers and things like that, you can be saving money just by being aware and when you're actually doing your planning. Okay, flyers come out on Friday. Okay, I'm going to hit the grocery store or whatever that is on the weekend, but you planned it out in advance, so you know that you can buy certain things that are cheaper. That may determine what you make based on what's on sale, right? So you can be, if you're that type of person, not everyone is, but you can be saving money that way.
There's less waste.
Less waste, yeah.
We sometimes, you're in the produce store, everything looks fabulous.
Uh-huh.
And then by the end of the week, and you still have some of that around, you're thinking, why did we buy so much?
That's right. And they're,
Then you've got to be really creative of how to use it.
right. And
But,
there are ways of dealing with that too, when you shop and you buy a lot, so we'll talk about some of that. Okay, saving money. So the other part about, so less waste and also saving money is if you're planning, and again, part of planning is looking at what you already have, right? What do you have in your fridge right now, in your cupboards right now, in your pantry? Using up what you have first, right? If you have a freezer full of stuff and you have no clue, kind of what's in there, whatever. Okay, we need to do a bit of an inventory and then use what you have to save you wasting, to save time having to shop for some stuff, to save money. Right? So there's lots of tips around using up what you have. What about meal planning to prevent boredom? What do you think? So adding variety into your plan. Because sometimes if we don't plan and we batch cook something, okay, so we make a large pot of chili, okay, so, which is great, and then you eat the same thing for a few days, you get bored of that. If you haven't planned anything else and done any other food prep, what happens? After day 3, you're kind of tired of the same thing, so you're then going to do what? Maybe eat out, or you're going to waste it, or you're going to eat out, or right? So you're not thinking in advance. So it can prevent boredom and sending us off to takeout, right? Okay, so lots of reasons why we want to be doing planning and preparing our food in advance.
on the less waste issue as well, there's also the less waste of, it's a whole bunch of things. It's less waste, it's increased variety, like we'll make a pork tenderloin and that evening you're having pork tenderloin, but then with what's left over, I'm making a stir fry, so.
Something else.
Exactly.
Yeah, awesome. That's exactly it. So you thinking in advance of whatever you have left over, what can I do with it, right? Stretch that out, create another meal, or create leftovers enough for lunch the next day or dinner the next day, whatever that might be, which is great. Okay, Okay, what are your challenges with this whole process? So planning out meals and preparing food. So what are the challenges for you?
Something comes up during the day and then you end up being out somewhere else and you don't eat at home, or you
Okay.
decide,
So the plan derails somewhere,
yeah.
okay? Okay. What else?
Balancing the healthy foods that I want versus what my kids will eat. So kind of have to, there's a balance, there's a game.
Okay. So balancing what everyone wants to eat versus healthy, okay?
You know, I can put as many vegetables and as much salad on the table as I want, but my son will eat meat and potatoes.
Okay? What else? What are the other challenges? Is there a challenge with actually committing to do it? Sit down some way and planning out? Okay. So, so commitment.
Definitely less, I think I gave the impression last week that I do plan, but it's planning on the fly. It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm going grocery shopping now. What have I got? Da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
Okay, go. It's like a football huddle
Okay.
with myself.
Okay, so it's not in advance so much as, okay, at least you have a plan, grocery list, shop, okay. So that's one step, so that's okay. Okay, so the commitment to actually do it, right, it's like anything. What else?
Food portions.
Portions, okay, so knowing what a proper portion is or sticking to a portion,
Knowing how much.
knowing, okay.
Oh, I think sticking to it.
Really
good.
They're both, yeah, exactly, they're both.
Why
potential.
not have
Hand in
more?
hand.
Knowing portions and,
Being satisfied with said portion.
yeah.
Witness the half cup of rice.
Yeah. Again, those are all challenges with this,
I
right?
may never eat rice again. If I can only have this much, it's just not worth it.
And that's not a bad mentality to have, I have to say. Okay, so a couple things that are gonna come up as we go. Is knowing what you actually have in your kitchen in terms of food a challenge? Like, do you all know what is in your freezer and fridge and cupboards right now?
No.
Right?
Yes.
Roughly.
For the most part, yes.
Why for you?
Okay.
Well, because we continually, I heard this or read this article about the continual kitchen.
Okay.
And when I now think about food, it's a continuous process. So yes, I do inventory what's in the freezer. I do inventory of kind of staples. And we do make a grocery list.
Awesome.
And it does really help. But in the morning, we still have to have the conversation about what's for dinner.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I feel my kitchen is quite organized.
Okay, awesome.
Wow.
And if your kitchen is not
But I'm
organized,
retired, right?
has a bit more time. Okay, so again, there's the time factor there, right? Although you are very busy, so it's not like, right?
Yeah, but I like
You
to
are-
be efficient.
Yeah, so you're prioritizing. So that's, again, that's where that commitment comes in, is that Jenny has decided a commitment to be efficient in her kitchen and planning out meals, okay? Okay, so here's the other part of this. Knowing portions, sticking to portions is fine. There's also the challenge of you create the meal plan, but you don't stick to it. Right? That's also a commitment thing. So, not sticking to plan. Right? So there needs to be some flexibility within that plan as well, incorporated. Any other challenges? So Sheila brought it up, balancing what everyone wants versus healthy. So some of those challenges can be around other people, that if you are the person who does either the shopping or the prep or the planning or the cooking, there are other people to factor into that. Other challenges might be budget. How much money do you actually have available to you, right? It's great to create, or it's great if I were to hand you a meal plan for the week, but your budget doesn't allow for some of the things that I have said would be great if you were eating this week, right? So budget has to come into that, and that can be a challenge. And also, knowing what to cook, so we're going to talk about that. So creating meal plans are great, but you need ideas. Right? What do I make? And also, what if you don't like to cook? Trust me, I have clients that, we use all prepared packaged food because they don't like to cook. Okay, so there's some of that as well. So part of the,
Well, and even if you like to cook, sometimes you just get tired of cooking.
exactly, and you need options that are going to relieve you of that from time to time, which we're going to generate some ideas. So part of the success to planning and food prep is knowing what your challenges are and then brainstorming for solutions, right? Because it's, like I said, it's one thing to sit down and create a plan and decide. It's quite another for it to actually be successful for you. Okay? We all have great intentions. It just doesn't always come out. Okay, so I'm going to hand out a package of info.
I think another challenge would be the amount of time that it takes to make that meal.
Yeah, so Tom,
So
yeah,
I'm not eating till like 8 o'clock, because it's taking me an hour to make it.
yep. Exactly. So in your plan, this is what we're going to start talking about, is you need to look at your schedule and decide, are there certain days where you have to have things already made in advance and ready to go when you get home? Some days are longer, again, depending on if you have a work situation. Some days are longer, some things you have activities after work, you have other people that you have to, are responsible for or work around. So yes, if a meal is going to take you an hour to prepare and your time is limited, it's probably not the best. Sorry, that's a whole package. Oh, you can keep the whole package.
Oh.
It's a lot of info, yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, so you can see on our first page, this is what the stuff that we have just covered. So some of those things on there. I'm going to hand out a blank food journal as well. We're going to start talking about some meal ideas too, so you have something to work on. Okay, so keys to successful meal planning. What are they? Keys to success. We're basically knowing your challenges, right? What else? What would make your plan and food prep successful?
Having everything there for you to make your healthy choices.
Okay, so food?
Yeah.
Food, okay, what about, okay, so keys to success with all of this. Your kitchen needs to be stocked. Right? What do we need? We need food, recipes. What else do we need? Cooking, appliances, you know, whatever you're gonna use. If you don't have a crock pot, it's not gonna help you if you have a crock pot cookbook,
Yeah.
right? Cooking appliances, whatever utensils you need. If you are batch cooking, what do you need?
Freezer.
Freezer or space or storage containers or baggies, whatever decision you have made. So you need storage and you need whatever is necessary to store or freeze food, right? Those are all important things to have. Anything else that would be a key to success?
Making the time to plan it out.
Time, yep. That is actually step one of meal planning, which we're gonna go over some steps. Time for planning. That's the commitment piece right there, is deciding. So you know with anything that we do, you have to commit to doing it in order for it to be successful. And it doesn't matter, it can be as simple as a blank piece of paper where you jot down different ideas for the week, to as elaborate as there's computer apps, there's phone apps, there's downloadables, there's printables, there's all kinds of things that you can do to help with planning. So, time. Anything else that would be a key to success?
I think it might be good too to, once you got your plan, stick it on the fridge. So
Yep.
everybody kind of knows what's.
Visible plan, absolutely. Yeah, wherever you can see it. And again, that can be as simple as that's that handwritten plan, to as elaborate as there are all kinds of fun ideas. Your whiteboard on the fridge or the wall, you could actually paint a section of your wall in chalkboard paint in your noting. You can actually do that. I had no idea that some of the erasable markers work on fridges and freezers. Of course, you want to do a little test patch before you start writing on your, I'm assuming not stainless steel, but on other. Apparently, they do. But yes, some kind of visible plan, whatever that works, however that looks for you. It can be just a calendar, a weekly calendar, a monthly calendar, depending on what you're, how you're choosing to plan. Anything else that would be a success, key to success? Most of our challenges can also be, if we actually work through them, would be keys to success, right? Working within our budget, knowing what to do. Is there a plan B if something derails your actual plan A, your meal plan? Are there, are there healthy options wherever you might be? Can you pack food and take it with you? Things like that. The whole balancing, which we will talk about. How do you create meals that can make everyone happy?
Yeah, and storing it in the proper portion size,
Yep.
so that's what
Exactly.
you're doing.
Taking out whatever your portion is in advance, yep, can all help. Okay,
I think having everyone on board.
another big one, yes.
I mean, it really helps if everyone somewhat is committed to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we have kind of an ongoing, whoever's home or whoever's willing to starts because we've decided
Yeah.
what we're having. And it's not down to the finest details, but somebody's
Yeah.
ready to start.
And that's an important conversation to have with anyone in your, living space, your family, whoever is there with you. Also, food prep can take a long time, right? If you're deciding to do it in advance, it can be, a few hours of time. Breaking that up with other people involved, right? I mean, you could even go as, plan some fun around, have a food prep party with your friends, right? Invite someone over, have your social time, prepare meals together, right? So you have lots of choices here to make this work for you. But yes, having everyone understand what is happening. If you are planning meals, it should involve everyone in some way. Maybe you do the meal plan, but someone else goes shopping, right, on their way home or fits into the schedule better, right? Okay, so yes, having that, but again, everyone on board, but also having conversations around what are we doing here? Question that I just thought of. What if not everyone has the same goal? So, most of the people that I work with, the goal is what? What is your goal?
Be healthier.
You want to be healthier,
Maybe lose a few pounds.
right, so you want to change something about your body, so typically you're going to need to change something about how you're eating. What if not everyone is the same? What if they don't have the same?
It is a challenge. I live with a high metabolism, skinny guy who can eat a lot.
Okay,
But in some ways, he's very conscientious about choices because he has had heart issues in his family.
okay,
But yeah, no, he needs his carbos.
yeah.
A
So
lot.
that is also part of that conversation.
Yeah,
So here's another scenario. What if your partner is the one who does the cooking? I have a number of clients. Yeah, I was thinking of you. I have a number of clients in that situation. What if they are the ones who do the cooking?
Sometimes what ends up, he cooks what they want, and then I cook what I want.
So, making a decision sometimes that you have to prepare food separately, that does happen. It's a decision. Because again, if not everyone is on board or not everyone has the same goals, there will be friction there for sure, because you need what you need. For me, this is all about you, taking care of you and then everyone else, right? So you need to have those conversations, and then you need to decide what is important for you. And maybe it's, if the partner is doing most of the cooking, there can be a conversation around, okay, well, you're gonna have